Are you looking for a podcast about being canceled?
Then you must be thinking of another podcast. Good evening, Kelsey.
Good evening, Robert.
How are you today?
I am a little sad because I got this little notebook. It's very cute, very small.
Okay.
And I was writing down all my good podcast ideas in it.
Uh-huh.
And it's just small enough that a cat would be interested in it.
Oh, okay.
So it has grown legs and walked away and I cannot find it.
Oh, no.
I think that my cat just ran off with it.
So I have Google Keep. Do you ever use that?
No, I've never heard of that.
You had a Google phone and you never used Google Keep?
No, is that the Red Keep?
No, it's like a note-taking app that Google has made, so you can do lists for groceries and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can do what I do. I have a Pod Topics and a Pod Stories section pinned to the top that I can always add to and take stuff off of.
Very nice.
Oh, which actually, by the way, my Pod Stories, I get to take off. Die Hard 2 tagline, die harder. Check mark off.
Check.
Get rid of that one. Yes, if I ever think of a topic to do, or just here's just a quick story, I write them down in my Keep, and then there you go.
Perfect.
I actually have a giant list in here of movies that I've seen to watch. They used to be pretty much all stuff from Fantastic Fest. When things would come out there, I would go, ooh, that sounds fucked up, and so I'd write it down in this giant list, and I have this huge list.
That's really smart, because every time I see a preview, I'm like, that's cool, and then I forget about the movie entirely, and it never, is big in theaters, you know?
I actually need to take off a bunch of these, because I've seen Clown now.
Clown?
Oh, okay, so it's a guy who hires a clown for his kid's birthday party.
Oh, I remember this preview.
Yeah, but they can't send anybody, so he finds a clown outfit in this attic, puts it on, does the thing, but now he can't get it off, and it makes him want to eat children.
God.
It was real good.
Okay.
I quite enjoyed it. So, yeah, you need to use Google Keep. Go get it for your new Samsung phone right now. You will not regret it. I love this thing.
All right. Hell yeah, we'll do that.
I write down my grocery list, and then, as you're walking around, you can hit the check mark, and it pulls it from up top to a spot down below that you can't see, so that you don't even get it, cluttered up.
Ah, who needs paper?
Yes, app's the best. I love this thing.
I'm always, fucking fumbling with pen and paper in the store like an animal.
Don't. Stop that.
This sounds like an advertisement, but it's not. We're just...
No, yeah, this thing is the best. I love it.
Not sponsored, just passionate.
I can't believe, for as Google as you are, you don't know about their note-taking app.
Yeah, that's never crossed my path.
Oh, because I always wanted one, because I used to carry a little notepad, in my back pocket for when I thought of weird stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And then I was like, oh, I can put it in this. And so now I use that. And it, auto-saves to the cloud, so you can, pull it again later. Yeah. You can even... merge it with Richard's phone, so you can send him to the store and go, I forgot to put this on there. Just write it in the note here, and it shows up on his phone while he's at the store.
Oh, fancy!
To then still check it off and stuff.
I think the whole physical notebook in the pocket thing is a carryover from journalism. Because I remember, requiring everyone to have a notepad and a pen at all times, just in case they had, a spur-of-the-moment interview or, a story idea.
Well, I was going to say, that just sounds like a very journalistic thing anyway, you know?
It does.
I see that as, pencil, behind the ear.
Yes.
You know, and they're just tell me about your life. Tell me about when this happened, you know?
Tell me a story.
So... That's sad, though. But I have a solution for you. There you go.
There we go.
Speaking of that, though, I never put my thumbprint on my phone.
Man, you gotta do it. Why not?
I was actually editing the last show, and I was like, oh, yeah, I did say I would do that.
I even texted you. I was like, how's your fingerprint going?
I know.
Come on.
I know. I didn't do it yet. I need
We'll
to.
do it.
I
Do it
will.
today.
I
So
will.
next week we can cover this.
Okay.
So speaking of going to the store, I had to make a trip out for the first time since quarantine began for some shampoo.
Okay.
Because I done ran out of shampoo.
Okay.
Um, it's been a while since I actually shopped for shampoo, and I was looking for a specific brand. I know that Ulta carries this brand. It's called It's a 10. I buy all my shit from them. I love it.
Okay.
But so I get there to Ulta. I've got my mask on. I've got my quarantine hair, full fledged, just like quarantine mop happening.
Okay.
I recently have bought myself a pair of thinning shears, and like I gave myself kind of I would call it a haircut.
Okay.
A stylist, a trained stylist would probably call it a disaster, but
But
it's
it works.
working for me.
Uh-huh.
It's making me feel less like I want to shave my head.
Very nice.
So, but yeah, so I ran out of the good shampoo. So I go to Ulta and I'm looking for the good shampoo, and like I'm in my mask, in my quarantine hair. I find the section where my stuff is, and it's all on like the bottom shelf. So I'm like crouched down in Smeagol position. I've got 3 bottles of conditioner because they're all like
Good
slightly
Lord.
different,
Okay.
and I'm trying to figure out the difference between them.
Oh, okay.
And my mask, meanwhile, is like fogging up my glasses because
Yep.
that's what it do, you know?
Yep.
And my hair keeps getting in my face, so I'm like pushing it out of the way, and I'm holding these 3 bottles in my arms, and I'm like crouched on the ground. This employee walks around the corner, and she's like, do you need help? It's like, me?
And you go,
Me on the
no.
floor here? Me on the floor, crouched like a goblin holding all these conditioners? Do I need help? Yes, actually. I feel like I don't know how to act in public anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt extremely feral.
Oh, okay. So wait a minute. That's actually what you meant? Yes. Because I looked up feral in Ulta and I found a makeup brand, and I didn't know if that's what you were going to tell me about.
No.
Because when I read this, I pictured like there was a sale and just women like went feral and crazy and were like attacking each other, and that's what you were gonna tell me. But it was just you
Just
going
me.
all crazy and animalistic.
Yep, just me being a feral
I got you.
Kelsey.
Oh well, now I don't know what to do with all of these lipsticks that I found.
Did you purchase a bunch of lipstick?
No, like I looked it up and it's spelled the exact way that you wrote it in there, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I guess Kelsey's gonna tell me about this lipstick stuff, because Taylor was like, why do lipsticks have to be named the things they're named? Like, this one's called Homewrecker.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah, so it's called Homewrecker. This one's called Commando.
All right.
Sex on the Beach. Pink Dreams. And then there was another one. But, like, she was like, why do they have to be called... Like, Butt Naked is the name for this one.
Every single lipstick has got to have some kind of, like, sensuous name.
Yeah. And that made Taylor think of... So, this one's called Lustful Liquid.
Lustful liquid. No,
But
thank you.
But it's red. I would picture that as like a blue. It's a liquid, you know? But no, whatever.
Are all liquids blue?
Oh, and then this one is called the New Trio, and it has 3 lipstick applicators poking this girl's lips.
Why?
You know what? Let me just send you this. Oh man,
If
I
you
wish...
had legit sent me, like, a thing of feral in Ulta after I had typed feral in Ulta into our topic suggestions, I would have lost my mind.
Let me see if I can... yeah, I'm gonna send you this image, because this is the kind of stuff I thought you were going to be talking about, but I was hoping that it was people going crazy, and it wound up being that, so I'm very happy. But, like, this is the, like, picture for this one thing, and it's like, what is happening here?
What is happening?
Oh, yeah, let's just have all these things poking her in the mouth, you
So
know?
sexy.
So, it was making Taylor think of her favorite stand-up comedian lady,
Uh-huh.
Eliza Schlesinger.
Oh my god, I love her. She's from Dallas.
Yeah. Well, she has one about how she hates makeup because they're always like the worst named things. Like they can't just have red or blue. She's like, this one's called Bad Gal, let's fuck in a dumpster. And she's like, why? Why does it have to be called that? We don't want to do that anyway. And so it was just funny that all this was like butt naked, lustful liquid, home wrecker. And I was like, why would you want one called home wrecker? Let me put some home wrecker on my lips. You know?
I mean, if you want to go wreck a home, that's what you got to put on.
I guess.
It's required by law. I like nail polish names. They're always like cute and fun. They're not typically like dumpster fucker or whatever.
Yeah. I really thought you were going to tell me about this makeup and the names. And I was hoping that it was going to be crazy, and it was. Like, this completely backfired on me. It was the thing I originally thought it was.
All right.
Well, now you know about this crazy lipstick place.
I feel like we could make a game out of that somehow.
Oh my god, we probably could. I'm going to have to look up, like, different, like, makeup names. Oh, hang on. So this one says they do free shipping for international orders. What's the minimum purchase amount you have to make to get international shipping?
I'm going to say 150.
No.
That would be wild.
No, we have things called butt naked, home wrecker.
Oh my god. Is it $69?
It's $69.
Jesus Christ.
I swear to God. That's why I was like, oh wow, Kelsey found the weirdest thing. It turns out it's me. I always find the weird shit.
It's you.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna send this website to you and you can peruse it.
At my leisure. All right.
Feral at your leisure.
Beautiful, bold, and wild, just like the feral cat. What the fuck?
I don't know, but you said feral in Ulta. I typed in feral Ulta, found this website. I don't know. Okay. This has just gone all kinds of not where I thought it was going to go.
Completely off the rails now.
This is great, though. I'm glad that I could show this to you.
Well, what'd you do this last week?
Not too much, but today I went to a movie trading company.
Oh.
I was going for a movie, and I wanted to tell you about it because I wanted Ferdin to hear that I was looking for this movie.
Yeah?
Because he is the only person on the face of this planet that has seen this movie with me, okay?
Okay.
I don't think we've ever even watched it together, but he's the only person that when I say it, he knows what I'm talking about.
That means it's gotta be a weird one.
It's not even weird. It's a really funny movie. It's called 100 Girls.
Okay.
And I just hear Ferdin in the future listening to the show going like, I fucking love that movie!
Let me type this in. 100 Girls.
Okay. Katherine Heigl, it's one of her first movies.
I love her.
There's a bunch of good people in this movie. I didn't realize this. But so the premise is, this guy's going to college. The power goes out while he's in an elevator, and he has sex with a girl that's in the elevator with him, right?
Okay.
When he wakes up in the morning, she's gone, and the only thing left behind was her bra, and he is now trying to find this girl on this college campus.
Oh my god, so it's like Cinderella but with boobs.
Okay, that's what Taylor said, but he's not trying the bra on people to see who fits it. Like, that's not what he's doing. But he does pretend to be a maintenance man to get into the women's dormitories to search through their stuff and look through their bras to find matching ones.
Okay.
It's a very weird movie, but it's so funny. It's so great. And I was like, I really want to watch it. So I was like, I'm going to hit up Movie Trading Company. Like, why not?
Yeah.
I found it, like $3. Nice find. And we were looking at stuff, and Taylor always goes to the kids section because she keeps trying to find these old movies from, like, her past.
Yeah.
That, like, you can't really find anywhere.
You know what I can't fucking find? There's a movie called The Last Unicorn. And it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I have that movie.
Oh my god.
I love that movie.
It's so good.
Sad.
Oh my god, it's beautiful and wonderful and perfect in every way.
Yeah, I've been trying to get Taylor to watch that for a while.
Oh, she would die.
I think she
would die happy.
So we found one for her called The Trumpet of the Swan or something.
I've read that book. I didn't know it was a movie.
Yeah, they made a movie of it, and we watched it.
It's a good book.
It was good. She was talking about The Ugly Dachshund, but that's on Disney Plus now. And she goes, I can't find anything. Just name a movie from your childhood that nobody really remembers. Just this deep, random movie. And I was like, Little Nemo.
Yeah, nobody fucking knows Little Nemo.
we have a connection on, right?
Yes.
I
You and I are the
found
only
it.
people in the world. You found it?
No, I found it on DVD.
What?
But there's also a Blu-ray edition of this too.
Oh my god.
But it's fine because the Blu-ray is like $40 and hard to find,
Jesus.
and this was like $10.
Hell yeah.
I was like, meh. It's from 1989 when
Is
I
it
was
really?
born. So DVD's good enough.
Yeah.
Like it can't look that good on Blu-ray.
No.
So
God, I love Little Nemo.
I know. So I got that. And then, let's see, I've pretty much just been cranking out The Last of Us.
Oh, so have you finished it? That's the big question.
I have finished it.
Fuck yeah.
I literally cranked it out in like 2 full day sessions.
What's your emotion right now?
So my emotion right now is like content.
Okay.
Like, I'm good with the way this went. Not because it's what I wanted. It's definitely not what I want. But for what it is, I like what they did. Because, so here's the thing. I like it. I'm going to go ahead and rate it right now. It's great.
Okay.
You should play it in that you should see that this can happen. Right?
Okay.
Is it a fun game? No. Not really. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. Like, you're not like, oh man, I wonder what happens next. You're like, what the fuck's gonna happen next? You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's stress and worry most of the time.
Perfect. We all need a little bit of that in our lives right now,
Yeah.
don't we?
So, I will go ahead and give you what Taylor thought. She does not like it.
Okay. Not
She-
at all?
No, she does not like it.
Wow.
If it had ended in a certain scene, she goes, it would have been a perfect game and I would have loved it for the ages.
Okay,
But
that's what I hear.
But they went forward and now I don't like it.
Yeah, so I think we should make a time call right here and be like, from here on, it's going to be Spoiler Town, right?
Oh yeah, spoiler city. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Let's get into it. So,
Joel is dead.
yes. But, I mean, from the trailer, you're kind of meant to believe that Ellie is out for revenge, so it seems like Joel is dead, right?
Well, so the trailers kind of make you think it's going to be her new girlfriend.
Okay.
I really thought Dina was going to die.
I think the only trailer that I can vividly recall for this one is just Ellie sitting on a bed and she's all like fucked up and playing a guitar and she's like for revenge.
That was the very first trailer ever.
Okay.
Then all the later ones really start introducing Dina, and they kind of show some stuff, and then there's a specific scene that they completely lie about.
Okay.
Like, they show you that she gets saved by somebody, she turns around, and it's Joel, right?
Yeah, I remember that now, yes.
And he says, you think I'd let you do this on your own? When you get to that part in the game, she turns around and says, what are you doing here? And it's a completely different person that says, you thought I'd let you do this alone? Like, people had called that Joel was dead from your first trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And then when this one came around, I think they were like, we gotta, like, throw him for a loop. So they just kind of put him in there, and you're like, oh, well, there he is. Nope.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, very early on, Joel is gone. And I think I told you that I'd played through the big bad, and it didn't really hit me that hard.
Yeah, so you played up through Joel's death scene, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
That was like your big opener.
That. Yeah. And it didn't get to me.
Hey, speaking of big openers.
Oh, yeah. I am definitely going to need one of these for that. Oh, yeah.
Crispy.
Crispy. I guess in the first game, when his daughter dies, you're like, fuck, a game can do that?
Yeah, that's like the opening, 15 minutes where his daughter, like, it's a terrible car crash and it's awful. It's like the very beginning of the end, pretty much.
It's like the beginning of that game, and that's how they fucking open it before the opening title happens.
Yes, it's like a cold knife to the heart immediately when you start that game.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we would be accustomed to it You know, like we know something bad will happen. It's The Last of Us,
Yeah.
right? But the way it happens isn't as bad to me as it was when Joel's daughter died. Because you really
Okay.
get to see the raw reaction from him when it happens.
Yeah.
And when it happens in this, we kind of get it from Ellie's perspective, but she goes so numb with what happens that, like, the sound drains away, and we kind of lose... We lose hearing the emotion, kind of.
So I heard
You
that,
know?
like, his death scene is extremely brutal, though.
I don't think so.
Really?
I mean, the stuff leading up to it is more brutal, because this... So basically what happens is Joel is out on patrol in the like town they're in, right?
Okay.
And he saves this girl from like the blizzard, and she's all like, "Oh, come with me. I have some friends and we have a place that we can stay while the blizzard dies down." And he goes, "Cool." So they get there and he's like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And they're like, "What's your names?" And he's like, "I'm Tommy." And then he's like, "My name's Joel." And the room just goes boom, quiet. He's like, sounds like y'all might have heard of me before. And then this one guy just goes, "That's because we have." And then the girl that you were just playing as shotguns him, like, right in the knee.
Oh, jeez.
And sends him down. And then she kind of starts beating him with a golf club.
Oh,
Right?
Christ. Okay. That wasn't, like, too brutal?
No, because you don't really see much of it.
All right.
So really, when you come back as Ellie, he's already, like, really bloodied and stuff. Like, you've missed a lot of the torture.
Okay.
And when she... So basically, she just hits him one time at the end. Just what? One time in the head, and that's it. It's, like, done. Right?
Okay.
And it wasn't that bad to me. Like, there's a little bit of a blood squirt. And somebody did point out there's some brain on the golf club.
Gross.
But it's not super obvious, you know?
Okay.
And then they don't really ever show his body pass in.
So it's not like the whole Negan scene in The Walking Dead where he
Oh,
beats
no.
him in the face. Okay.
No, to me, Glenn is 10 times worse than what they show you for Joel.
Okay.
You do not see anything to that level, like eyeball popping out and shit.
Yeah, that was horrible and just
Yeah.
the worst.
No, not even close to me.
Okay, that's what I was picturing when I heard descriptions of this scene.
And I guess, really, I was more in shock because I guess I wanted it to be Dina for Ellie to have, like, a big meaning for it.
Yeah.
But then it was Joel. Well, I guess because I like Joel, I didn't want him to go.
Right.
So when they tricked me, I guess I was like, it really was that way. Damn. And it just didn't get me, you know? Really what got me is the fact that he's gone later and some of the things that you find out after. Basically, you find out, you know, Joel saves Ellie at the end of part 1, right?
Yeah.
As she's growing up with him, she's pretty much constantly wondering if he was telling the truth, to the point that she goes back to the hospital that she was saved from and finds out what he did, and she confronts him about it.
Okay.
And when he goes, so she goes, "You have to tell me now. If you lie, I'm gone. But if you tell the truth, I'll come back with you to the town." And he says, "There was a cure. They were going to kill you, and I stopped them." And she goes, "I'll come back to town. I never want to see your fucking face again."
God.
So he saved this girl that's like his daughter now, and she fucking hates him for most of the time that they live together past then.
Damn.
And that's the stuff that kind of hit me the most, was just watching him care about her so much, but he had hurt her to have her, you know?
Yeah.
So that's that's some stuff you can philosophize on or whatever.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. So a lot of people's, like, their main complaint about the story is just the constant violence, and the main theme of the game is basically being driven home over and over by the same brutal violence, and that the player as a character has no vehicle to change the course of the way things are going. That's the biggest the biggest downside that most reviewers are bringing up?
So that's the thing that I kind of wanted to touch about with this game.
Okay.
So Taylor doesn't like it, and most of the stuff she doesn't like is that people keep calling it like a poignant ending, and it's so like inspiring or this kind of stuff, right?
Okay, yeah.
I don't think people mean it because the ending is good or truly mean. I mean, I think it does mean something, but I think it's poignant because a game is doing this.
Instead of a movie?
This is something you would see in a movie. You don't get endings like this typically in games. In games, you get a payoff because you've been putting so much of yourself into it, right?
Yeah.
And people are pouring themselves into this for... My counter was 24 hours and 16 minutes.
That's a lot.
Okay. That's a lot of your time to pour into something to then basically get nothing out of the end. You
right,
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what this thing, that's the whole feeling you're supposed to be left with. So I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Okay, so it did what it was supposed to do for you.
To me, it made me think of Drag Me to Hell. Do you remember that movie?
Yes, I remember that movie.
Okay. I read an interview with Sam Raimi after he'd made it, right?
Uh-huh.
And he was like, we crafted this woman, this gypsy woman, to be so repulsive or annoying, anything we could to make you as a viewer also choose what our character was going to choose, so you're just as guilty as her when you go into it, right?
Okay, yeah.
That's exactly what Naughty Dog did with this game. They purposefully lead you away to make you feel something and then are leading you to feel something else.
Yeah.
Right? They're crafting this for you to feel the way they want you to feel. And I think it hit me the way it was supposed to.
Okay, good. Like the whole the biggest praise that I'm hearing for the game is, one, the characters are amazing. They're all award-winning performances, outstanding, incredible work for every scene. Like, every actor is fully in this game, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, even The Last of Us 1, I thought that the actors did really good work for a video game. It felt more like a movie to me. It was cinematic.
Yeah.
And hand in hand with that, the art style has been described as some of like the best video game art of all time.
I mean, it just looks good.
It really
looks
does.
So good.
I've been watching like videos of playthroughs and stuff, and it just, everything looks seamless.
Have you watched the ending?
No.
I don't think you should.
Okay.
Well, I'll get to the ending. But so yeah, it looks really clean, right?
Yeah.
There are some like just breathtaking scenes in this. There's one that comes to mind. So twist in the game, the girl that kills Joel. Mm-hmm. You play as her for half of this game. Okay,
so let me tell you what the spoilers that I read were.
Okay.
So I recall the spoilers saying that like the girl kills Joel and you play as her, but when you play as her, you are also to kill Ellie.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I believed, is that you kill Ellie as that character and then you continue on as that character for the remainder of the game.
Okay. Well, no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that does not happen.
No. So, I mean, I guess I'm glad I didn't read that so that I could be so shocked by some of these things.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. So, you play fucking forever as Ellie, right?
Right.
And it goes like Seattle, day 1. Seattle, day 2. Seattle, day 3. It's 3 days that this game really takes place in, right?
Uh-huh.
And when you switch over to Abby, the other character, it goes Seattle, day 1. And I was like, hopefully this is just a quicker version of those 3 days again, right? No,
yeah.
It is just as long.
Man.
And I was like, fuck this. It is so much game. Like, for real. Like, I don't really like games that are too long. And this game feels a little too long.
That's shocking to me because, I don't know, maybe I'm jaded by things like Skyrim or Divinity, but 24 hours seems like a little bit short for a AAA game, especially one that you just kind of play through once, right?
I mean, most AAA games like that are maybe 15, 10
Really?
at the most. Yeah, they're like always like the Uncharted games are maybe 13 if you just are lost and have no idea what to do. Like I can streamline part 1 in like 5 hours or less.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I just don't play a whole lot of story-driven games. Like I'm more into the grindy games where you build
Yeah.
your own shit with side quests and stuff, you know?
Yeah. I mean, this one's got a lot of exploring that you can do, which I
Yeah.
did a shit ton of. But
I mean, you may as well when the world is built so beautifully, right?
well, yeah. I mean, everywhere you go, there's something to see. It's
Can
crazy.
you interact with the environment a lot?
Not really. No.
Mm.
That's something Taylor didn't like. She was like, I don't really like how you can't like shoot some stuff and really watch it like fly around.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
that's what I live for, that kind of shit.
I was like, that's fine. I actually really liked the upgrading mechanic in this game.
It was different than the first one.
Yeah, so like you go to a workbench and like you put your gun on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you do the upgrades, like the person takes the gun apart and does the upgrade and puts it back together and then has the new thing.
Oh, cool. So it physically changes the appearance of your weapon.
Yeah, but it's not just like you press a button and then it's there. Like they actually do the work and make the thing.
I like that. It reminds me of a zombie game, Dying Light. But yeah, that's how the upgrade mechanic works in Dying Light also. It's very like you see the person actually upgrade the weapon.
Yeah. Like I just thought that was really, really neat.
Yes.
Oh, the scene that looks so striking that I was going to tell you about.
Right.
There's a part when you're playing as Abby and you are going to this island where this like kind of almost like an Amish group lives.
Okay.
So like they kind of saw the outbreak as kind of like God telling them like the world is bad, right?
Yeah.
So they've basically shunned all electricity, all modern things, but they still have weapons and stuff.
Okay.
Probably just to keep away, like, the other group, right?
Can't take away my God-given guns.
Yeah, so they shun all this stuff while the group that Abby's with winds up attacking them later in the game, and you have to, like, go through this, like, wood village at night while it's on fire.
Oof.
And it looks... Those are some of the most like, striking images from that game that I can remember.
Cool.
It looks fantastic.
So what did you think of the gameplay?
This game wants you to be mean.
Yeah.
Like, it really does. I, wanted to try to be nice with the dogs.
Yeah, that's one scene that's drawing a lot of criticism, is that you have to kill a lot of dogs and then also play fetch with them later.
Well, okay, so that's... Well, you're killing a different dog than the ones that you're playing fetch with, most of the time.
Okay.
I mean, you do kill that dog at some point. Okay, so there's, like, people in... The game's basically divided into, like, you walk for a bit, and then it's kind of like, here's, like, a little arena, and there's, like, 20 guys.
Shit.
Take out these 20 guys, and then we can move forward, And when you do that, there's probably 2 or 3 that might have a dog, right?
Okay.
There is only, like, one key dog that's, like, in the game, and it belongs to one of Abby's friends.
Okay.
Which you wind up killing that dog as Ellie, pre-playing as Abby, and then getting to actually like that dog.
Well, that's sad.
So basically, you do all this stuff as Ellie, so we know these things have happened, and then you wind up coming to them later as Abby, and being like finding the aftermath.
Okay, so you see like the violence of it and the other side, basically.
So the game is basically like, here's Ellie, she's on her revenge quest, here's the shit she's willing to do to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
Then we go to Abby, who we hate because she killed Joel, right?
Yeah.
And now we see, well, she killed Joel because he killed that doctor at the end of the first game. That was her dad. And so she was basically just doing what Ellie's doing right now. But she's gotten to accomplish her mission, right? She's killed Joel. She has completed her revenge quest.
So she's trying to live peacefully now that her revenge is done.
Kind of. She's given in to that part and is kind of done with it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know that it's really brought her any peace, per se. But she's just trying to make her way through life, really. And then it's just complicated, because she's got this guy that she used to date, but she was so obsessed with wanting to kill Joel that she basically put her relationship in jeopardy and is no longer with him.
Okay.
She was with this guy. He took her to this aquarium, and they were going to kiss and stuff, and she's like, I got to go to training. Like, what if I find that guy? And he's like, you're just never going to be part of this. So he doesn't stay with her, right?
Okay.
And he's with a new girl that he got pregnant.
Oh, shit.
So
Pregnant in Apocalypse, how irresponsible can you be?
Yeah. Well, him and Abby have quite a tension. Like, they clearly still love each other.
Okay.
And now that she doesn't have this thing with Joel, she's like falling back in with him and can actually be with him.
Right.
But you can't now. He's got this other girl pregnant. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like a whole complicated mess. Like, her thing is, she put everything aside for the purpose of killing Joel, and now is trying to have a life after that.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you really do get to like her. So she's scared of heights. And at one part in the game, you have to cross this, like, bridge that's going over some skyscrapers.
Ugh.
And I kind of, like, talk to the characters as I play sometimes.
Okay.
And I, like, kind of wanted to be like, you got this girl. And I was like, no, fuck this girl. That's right. I don't like her. Remember? She's bad. Bad. Don't like her. She's bad. Right?
Yeah.
But I like her. I honestly like Abby. I think she's a good character. I can't say she's a good person.
Okay.
Just like I can't really say Joel or Ellie are good people.
They're just people trying to survive.
Well, they're all driven kind of by selfish needs. Joel doomed all of humanity to this disease because he was too selfish and couldn't let Ellie die for a cause.
Yeah.
Ellie is selfish. She wants revenge for Joel. Abby is selfish. She wanted revenge for her dad. And these people are just pursuing this selfish need.
It's
right?
the worst cycle of rock, paper, scissors I've ever seen.
Pretty much. And I think that's the premise of the game.
Okay.
The premise is it wants you to know there's always another side. That's why they force you to play the whole fucking game twice as the two opposing forces.
Yeah. That is really distinctive for a video game. Like, I can't think of another video game that makes you play out both sides of the same situation like that.
Mm-hmm. And then, the Abby stuff, you really get to like her because she's trying to save these kids. She meets some kids during her portion.
Yeah.
That was in an old trailer. And so I wanted to touch on that one. We start playing it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's that little boy from the trailer. I wonder what his deal's gonna be. And we were playing it, and Taylor goes, oh man, I love this like girl that's here. I was like, what? I didn't say anything. I was like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
And then Abby referred to him as he, and she goes, oh, I guess I thought that was a boy. And I was like, well, I think it is a little boy. And then as you're playing, you come across some of the group that he was with.
Yeah.
And they start yelling out, hey, there's Lily. But his name is Lev the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
And you find out that this little boy is a trans character.
Yes.
And so the whole premise with them is they're from that Amish type group, right?
Okay.
Lev always questioned their traditions and all this stuff, and always had questions about who he was inside, right?
Yeah.
And he was betrothed to... So he's like 13.
Okay.
Right? He was told that his role in the community was going to be to marry one of the elders, because that's what they did.
Yeah.
The young girls married these guys. And he didn't want to do that. He wanted to be a warrior, so he shaved his head, and now they're outcast from the group.
Style.
Yeah. He shaved his head, and now he's outcast from the group.
Okay.
And the group is hunting him down and his sister to kill them both
Okay.
because
Damn.
he shaved his head.
Shit. See, okay, so I've been reading a lot on Lev in particular, actually, because there's been some criticism around Lev as a character. So members of the transgender community were pretty offended that they focused on the use of Lev's dead name by the villains, like you said when they were calling him Lily.
Uh-huh.
That's a very cisgender thing to do. It's just kind of pin the tragedy on the transgender character. And it is cool that a transgender actor provided the voice and the mocap for Lev. I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I worry that they kind of fell into the trope of like, look at this sad trans person and their life is sad because they're trans, and then it's even sadder now because they're a victim of violence because they're trans. It's just very, it's blunt, you know? It's not finessey.
I mean, they really don't focus on it too much.
Really? Okay.
It is
like,
it is not a big thing, because when the whole thing happens, I think it is if you were trans and you're just beelining to that character.
maybe that's what it is.
Because what happens is they go, there's Lily, and it happens in the middle of a fight. Like, it's not a cutscene. It's just in the game. You're like shooting people while they're screaming, there's Lily, and you're like, what are we talking about? Right?
Yeah.
And then after the fight, Lev comes up to you and goes, well, I guess you heard that. And Abby's like, yeah. And he goes, do you want to ask me about it? She's like, do you want to talk about it? And he says no, and that's it.
Okay. That's
Like,
good.
Like, that's all they do. Like, he's keeping that to himself. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Because why would he tell this lady that he literally met 6 hours ago?
Right.
Like, here's my life story. That's not what happens, you know?
Yeah.
And then Abby kind of finds out more from the sister, because she's like... So basically, they're going to escape to California. Right?
Okay.
But Lev doesn't want to go because he wants his mom to come with him.
Yeah.
And the sister's like, I don't know, we're already here, we should just go with him. But Lev can't leave that alone, so he runs away to go find their mom to see if she'll come with him to California.
Okay.
And so that's when Abby's like, so, you know, what's the deal? Like, why does he want his mom? And she's like, well, growing up, here's what happened. And that's when you kind of find out, like, what happened. But it's still just like, you're finding out secondhand because no one's really going in depth.
Okay.
Because why would I, a stranger, tell you every deep, dark secret of my life?
Exactly. Yeah,
when I've met you a day ago.
That's what I was worried the game was doing. Just reading in the reviews, people were mad that the character's transness was the focus of who they were.
We pretty much never talk about it, and it's never focused on.
Okay.
I only know because of that battle where they called him Lily, and then he's like, I guess you heard, but I don't want to talk about it. And that's kind of it.
Okay.
Abby never says, why do you feel like a boy? Like, none of that happens.
Okay, that's good. I'm going to link a couple of articles just about Lev and their character in this.
Yeah.
Just so we can get a couple opposing viewpoints on it.
All I can say is, I know that The Last of Us is in a gigantic online thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
People want this game to be really bad.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Is like people they're looking for the bad stuff.
Well, I read a review the other day, and I'm like, okay, you're just throwing out points to say they're bad.
Yeah.
And you have to look at it as what it is. Because like I just said, I guess because it's a game, we think everything's going to be explained to us. Right? But in the real world, if I just meet these two kids, why are they going to tell me their whole life story from 13 years ago about him growing up trans and all this stuff and give me every detail I need to know about his life?
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. And that doesn't happen. But I think we're just focusing on that one piece. You could focus on any one piece and say it's bad for whatever reason. But we're also not given all the information in this whole game. We're solely trying to say, look at how people react to things. Look at the way
Yeah.
people are. This game is people are. That's like the whole premise. Basically, you go through the whole thing. You do Abby, Ellie. You do the whole thing. You do fight Ellie as Abby, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't have too much of a problem with that because you don't really have any weapons, so you're just kind of like sneaking up and getting like one little hits in. So I wasn't really afraid I was gonna kill her.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, you know, they're just gonna make me like subdue her, and that's fine, right?
What would be very cool at this point, I know that I'm not a video game designer and this would be very difficult to do, but if they had options for if you kill her, like a different story branch happens,
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome.
I did see one reviewer guy, he goes, oh yeah, when I got to that fight, here's what I did, and he shows his gameplay, and he just walks out in front and goes, kill me, Ellie! Kill me! I don't like Abby! You fight Ellie and shit, and Abby beats the shit out of her, drops her on the ground, and just goes, I don't want to see your face ever again, and leaves.
Shit.
Now, in, you know, the whole thing going on here, she has shot Dina with an arrow. Well, Lev did. She almost killed Dina. She did kill Dina's old boyfriend who showed up to help out.
Yeah.
And shot Tommy, Joel's brother, in the back of the head.
Shit.
But he doesn't die, which
Oh.
was good. It kind of like went in and then like out his eye.
Ugh.
So he has one eye. It's just like really fucked up now.
Gross.
So after that happens, it kind of cuts, and it puts you 18 months in the future, and Ellie is living on this farm that her and Dina talk about all the time in the game, back and forth.
Yeah.
They talk about having a farm, having these animals, doing all this stuff, and that's where they live, and they have it.
And that's
And-
where the game ends, and it's so happy.
Nope. But like you play in that section for like 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, that's nice. They give you like a
maybe
little
like
bit of peace.
30. Yeah, and you do all this stuff, and I really thought, because she's talking to the kid, she's like, I have so many stories to tell you. A lot of them for when you're older, so I thought we were going to like flashback. Here's how I killed Abby. I'll tell you about that later, kid. Right?
Yeah.
Nope, that's not what happens. You live the whole life, and Ellie has like PTSD about Joel still.
Yeah.
So, like, this goat didn't go in the pen, knocks over a broom, and when it hits, it makes her think of the golf club hitting Joel. And she freaks out, right?
Damn.
So Dina comes out, like, calms her down, and then you see her wake up in the middle of the night, and she basically just doesn't even sleep. She's just a wreck still, right? And then Tommy shows up, Joel's brother. And he shows up, and he goes, hey, I know where Abby is.
Okay.
I heard some stuff, and they said that there's a giant buff girl. Because, okay, Abby is stacked.
I know, we haven't addressed this yet, but oh my god, she's ripped.
She is ripped. Do you know why she's ripped?
I imagine because she's just doing push-ups thinking about revenge.
Yeah, she solely bulked up for the day that she could kill Joel.
She's getting prison fit.
That's like the premise of her fitness,
Yeah.
was to exact revenge, right?
Yep.
So anyway, they're like, big buff girl, and then a kid with scars on his face. And so Lev is from a group called the Seraphites, which Abby's group calls the Scars, because they all cut their faces to like join the group.
Oh, great.
Like, that's part of their like cult initiation. They have to cut their faces to show that they're in it, right?
Okay.
So he has like giant Joker scars on his face that go up both sides.
Beautiful.
So he's like, that's her, man. What do you want to do? And Dina and Ellie are like, well, we're done with that. Like we almost died.
Yeah.
And you got shot in the head. Like, we're done. And he's like, well, that was my brother. And I would go, but I'm all fucked up now. And you promised me that you would go. So he kind of guilts her, right?
That's fucked up.
But she also doesn't sleep at night. So in the night, she's packing up. Dina comes down, and she's like, I gotta go. And she's like, no, you don't. We could stay here. Everything could be fine. We could be good. But Ellie, remember how I said Abby got her revenge?
Yeah.
Ellie still hasn't. Ellie never got that closure that Abby was finally able to get.
Right.
Because I see a lot of reviews saying that Ellie didn't grow as a character and Abby did. But Abby is past the point that we are with Ellie. She's gotten her revenge. She spent her whole teenhood up until like her 20s being Ellie with no growth, training to kill somebody, and now is growing as a person.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because every review's like, only Abby really grew and became a person. And it's like, well, yeah, but she had that closure. But she also let go of some of it when she let Ellie live. You know, she was like, I mean, I killed the person that I wanted. Done. So
could have just been done.
Ellie can't let it go. And I pointed out some parallels to Taylor. So this is by Neil Druckmann, right?
Uh-huh.
He's the guy that took over Uncharted 4 after they got rid of Amy Hennig, who had written 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Okay, so he came in and kind of took over Uncharted 4. And I think you can see in all three of his games, Uncharted 4, The Last of Us, and The Last of Us 2, there is one common thing. And that is obsession.
Ah.
All three games deal with an obsession of sorts.
Yeah.
In The Last of Us, Joel is kind of obsessed with the daughter that he lost. And he's not really looking to gain one, but once he finds Ellie, he can't let her go. He is obsessed with her.
Yeah.
That's a piece of him that he was missing. And now he has it and he can't let it go. Right?
Mm-hmm.
In Uncharted 4, Nate and his brother Sam were obsessed with this pirate treasure from when they were kids. And Sam has been in prison and has never been able to let that go. And he's willing to lose everything to get the thing from when they were kids, to get that treasure, right?
Yeah.
And Nate's willing to let it go because he's found something bigger, which is family and stuff.
Right.
He has Elena and Sully and all this stuff, and he's willing to let it go because he knows the priorities of what means more, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I told Taylor. Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Part 2 are the same game. But one's the good version, and one's the bad version.
Yeah.
Nate lives happily at the end of Part 4. Ellie's pretty fucked up now. So now we gotta go to the ending. Okay?
Okay.
Tommy tells Ellie, we found her. You need to go because I can't now. I'm too busted.
Yeah.
So Ellie goes. I don't think because of Tommy, but I think that was the last little push she needed to act on it. You know?
Right.
Like, she was happy with her life, but she was still in a constant state of turmoil. But when Tommy gave her an out, she's like, I feel like she was like, if I can kill her, I can now have that closure.
Yeah. Just kind of obsessed with the idea of peace.
Exactly. But she only sees that peace happening if she can get rid of the person that hurt Joel.
Right.
Right? So you go through this California section. Abby gets kidnapped by... So, Abby is an old Firefly. Do you know who the Fireflies are?
They were like the group from the first game, the Resistance or whatever, right?
Yes, they're the ones who were going to make the cure and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, after Joel basically kills all of them, they disband. And so, Abby and the guy that she liked, that guy has always wanted to see if there were more Fireflies out there somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And California was the place that he knew someone was going to be. So she goes there and finds out there are Fireflies. So she's like, Lev, we can join them and do good in the world again. This is going to be great. But then she gets kidnapped by this, like, Sons of Anarchy biker gang kind of thing.
Okay.
Ellie shows up in California, and she gets caught in one of their traps. It snares her leg, pulls her into the air, and she slams into a tree, and there's, like, a loose branch that stabs her right in the side.
Oh, fuck.
She is fucked on this one side, right? And she gets out of the trap and still pushes forward to find Abby. Bleeding and all. She did stitch herself up, but she's still, like, messed up on this side, right?
Sounds like a bad idea.
She pushes through all this shit, finds somebody that says, oh, that Abby chick, she tried to escape and they left her to die somewhere. So she's like, where's that? And they go, well, it's on this beach, and they basically tie people up and just leave them to rot. So she goes to the beach and finds Abby, right?
Yeah.
Now, I had said this when we started playing as Ellie when she got to California. I was like, she is skinny. Ellie was not buff like Abby, but she was still... She still had some meat on her bones, right? But she's super lean now. She's so lean and kind of gaunt, right?
Yeah.
When you find Abby, she's been tied up for so long, she ain't buff no more.
Oh, no.
She is real lean and gaunt, you know? And Lev is there, tied up. Ellie could have just, like, killed Abby there, right?
Yeah, easy enough while she's tied up.
But for some reason, she cuts her down. And then Abby cuts down Lev, and they start leaving, and she's like, I heard there's some boats over here. So they go to this little area, and there's 2 boats. Abby goes to the one on the left, and Ellie goes to the one on the right, and you're like, I guess they could part ways here.
Yeah.
And Ellie puts her bag in the boat, and her side hurts, so she touches it, and she looks at her hand, it's covered in blood, and she sees Joel's face.
And the blood?
Well, no, it just kind of like does like a PTSD to Joel.
Okay, I thought it was gonna be like you know, Christ in the
on like toast or something.
Yes.
No. So she kind of has a little thing, and she turns around and is like, I can't let you go. And Abby's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want any part of this. Just let me go.
Yeah.
And Ellie wrenches her back from by her hair, throws her into the water, and puts a knife to Lev's neck and says,
oh,
you're gonna fucking fight me, or I will
Lev didn't
kill
do
him.
shit in this. She's just like using him as a ploy.
Yeah, and she goes, he's not part of this. And she's like, you made him part of this. So let's do this. And Abby's like, fine, let's fight. And then you do the big, like, ending fight, right?
Okay.
And it is brutal. It's hard.
It sounds like it.
To look at. But then you're doing it, right? And then, honestly, I was never upset at Ellie the whole time. Until this ending fight. When she held that knife to Lev to force Abby into this, I was like, Ellie's lost it.
Yeah.
Ellie has officially become fully consumed by this rage that she has inside of her.
Yeah.
And then you go into that fight with Abby defenseless and Ellie with her pocket knife. And that's not fair. But I guess, was it fair when Joel is just like, oh, I helped save you guys, shotgun to the knee? Like, he didn't have anything either. So, I mean, you can make of that what you want. But I've totally felt that that was unfair. If Ellie was going to do this, put the knife away and actually do this right.
Fight
right?
mano a mano.
But she doesn't. They're fighting with this fucking knife. And she's like slicing Abby and doing all this stuff. Abby gets rid of it at one point. And so earlier in the game, Abby gets kidnapped by some people. And she grabs this lady by the hair, pulls her in, and bites her ear off.
Oh.
So she grabs Ellie's hand, and remember how I told you it takes the, like, weight of biting into a baby carrot to bite your fingers off?
Yes.
Do you remember when I told you that?
I do.
Yeah, well, Abby bites off 2 of Ellie's fingers.
Fuck.
Just bites them. And so she bites those off. Ellie gets on top of her and starts to, well, before she bites off her fingers, Abby falls down and, like, the game kind of halts, right?
Yeah.
And it does what it does at the end of part 1. At the end of part 1, you run in there to save Ellie, and the doctor's there, and he goes, don't shoot! And the game freezes, telling you, shoot this doctor, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, when I played that game, bow! Shoot that doctor, I want Ellie, right?
Okay.
Boom! Scooped her up. Abby's laying in that water, and it says, press square to like, strike or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I did hesitate.
Ugh.
Because I didn't want to. And not because I played as Abby and I grew to like her, but I really felt this was an unfair way to go about your revenge.
It
It's
sounds
it's
so brutal.
it is. It's so bad. But it's so pretty. It's like in this fog on the water. So it's like it's a really atmospheric ending.
Yeah.
It's so cinematic. I've watched it a couple times since, and it's really hard still. But so Ellie gets on top of her. Abby bites off her fingers, and Ellie starts to drown her, right?
Fuck. Ugh.
And I was like, no, I don't want this. Like, I really don't want this.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted Abby to die, us killing her is not going to bring Joel back.
But you don't have the option.
And I feel like she's like had her penance paid. If she had just gotten to live her life and been normal, I'd be like, you need some retribution. But she's been like tied up and left to die and all this wild stuff, you know?
Yeah.
She's been on that verge of death. She's been punished. I think we can leave her alone, right?
Yeah.
And you start drowning her, and it's the scene from the trailer that I kept wondering, like, what is that part gonna be? And it's Ellie. She's full blown crying. Like, she's not even mad while she's drowning her. She's crying.
Ugh.
She's like full blown crying. This memory pops up in her head, and then she lets her go and tells her to leave. Says, just fucking go. Just leave.
So she lets her live?
Yeah, and Abby leaves.
Oh my god.
Ellie sits there and watches her drive away in the boat. And so you get to see the memory later. Do you know about this part?
No.
Because I think this is the key thing that if you don't piece that together, makes this ending worse.
Okay.
Right? So the key thing with this memory is when she has that memory at that time, it makes her forgive. Because the whole memory is, it's her going to see Joel literally the day before he dies.
Yeah.
Her and Dina had kissed at this dance, and a guy called Dina a loudmouth dyke.
Oh.
And Ellie was like, what the fuck did you say? And then, of course, Joel steps in, and she's like, I can handle myself. Get out of my fucking life. He gets mad at him. And when I saw that, I turned to Taylor and said, that's the last thing she ever said to him.
Oh my god.
But it's not when you see this memory.
Okay.
So the memory is, he's sitting on his porch. Ellie comes up, and she's like, you gotta stop. Like, you have to stop this stuff. Like, I'm a grown person. You can't try to be in my shit all the time. Like, we need to have boundaries. And he's like, okay, I understand. And she's like, I can't forgive you for what you did. My life had a purpose. I was gonna save people's lives if I had died. And you stole that from me, and I will never get that back. I will never get that purpose in my life back.
Yeah.
And I can't forgive you for it, but I would like to try.
Aw.
And Joel, this is the only part of the game that made me almost want to cry. And Joel has like tears in his eyes, and he's like, I would like that. And she's like, okay. Well, good. He's like, okay then. That's the last thing she ever got to say to him. Was I still don't like you, but I want to be able to again.
Yeah.
And then he gets killed by Abby the next day.
That's so sad.
So the whole premise for her, we think it's simply because Joel died. It's not because Joel died. It's because Abby stole her chance to patch the relationship up with Joel.
Yeah.
That's why she's angry. That's why she's going after this girl so hard. She didn't rob her just of Joel. She robbed the relationship she was going to have with Joel again.
That's really fucked up. Like, Ellie's whole personality is just built on stuff being taken away from her.
Pretty much.
Like, it took away her innocence and her ability to help people, and then her ability to have a good dad in her life, like a father figure.
So, that memory in that time tells you she was willing to forgive Joel, the person that took the most from her. And now here's this other person that took, like, the most from her. And she's like, if I could forgive him, I guess I could forgive her.
Yeah.
But now you've spent too much. Like, you've spent too much now. Now you've lost 2 fingers, you know?
Yeah.
Like, all this shit is like happened now, and then she goes back home to find that Dina has taken the kid and left.
Oh no. What?
Dina tells her, I can't do this with you again. So when Ellie leaves, Dina leaves.
Oh my god.
And so we come back to the farm after Abby drives away. Ellie's missing her 2 fingers, and you walk in the house, and all the cupboards are bare, all the furniture's gone, the house is completely empty.
Ugh.
So now, just like Abby had done, remember she was dating that guy, but couldn't get over Joel, so they didn't get together.
Yeah.
Right? Well, now, Ellie's done the same thing. She couldn't let go of this person, and now has lost her girlfriend and this baby.
That's horrible.
You walk through the house, and the only stuff left is her stuff. Dina took everything but Ellie's stuff. Didn't even take her own stuff.
Wow.
She's like, I guess I just don't want anything that reminds me of you, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's when she picks up the guitar, tries to play it, can't anymore. Which, you play guitar in that game a lot.
There's like a guitar mini game, right?
Yeah, so you kind of have to like move the joystick to what chord you're going to play, and then you strum the touchpad.
That's cute.
But so you do it a lot, and you do it so much in the game that when you do it at the end and now it doesn't work, it feels so bad.
Oh.
So really, Ellie gave up everything to realize that forgiveness was the answer too late.
Man.
And that's why I think people don't like it, because in a game, I want to feel fulfilled. But Ellie didn't feel fulfilled until it was too late. And that's real. Sometimes people don't know what's good for them at the time.
It's true, yeah.
And that's why I like it, because you could see it happening. And then here's the thing I told Taylor that was kind of more fucked up. If Ellie had stayed at home and lived on the farm, Abby would have died anyway.
Why?
Abby was tied up to die on that beach. And by Ellie going to find her, she saved her.
Yeah, that's true.
Ellie saves Abby in trying to go kill her, but then loses everything else in the process. She could have had what she wanted and just not known it and lived happily, but needed to see it through herself, lost everything, and didn't get what she wanted.
Well, what a fucked up game.
It was kind of the best ride, but I just don't know if I would play it again. I don't know that I would.
It sounds exhausting. I can't imagine playing that more than once.
Honestly, I've only played the first one twice.
Well, you kind of already played this one twice. Like, once is Abby, once is Ellie, right? So.
Well, yeah, but could you imagine doing it again?
No.
Too much. So, I think when people get mad at it, they're looking at the top surface part.
Okay.
Because humanity's complex. We don't have all the answers. We don't have all the information in this game. Also, it doesn't give you all the information. It doesn't lay everything out for you. I feel like it's super real. And people do have obsessions. People do have that curiosity to see things out for themselves. So people can't let stuff go to the point that they push themselves into a bad place.
Yeah.
Of course, the idyllic, the thing we want is, you know what? We were Ellie, we killed Abby, life is good, the end.
Right.
But what? We kill Abby and now somebody else is going to come after Ellie later? That cycle of violence?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta learn to be the bigger person and see if it's really worth... if that stuff is really worth going for.
Yeah, that's a good message, I guess.
Ellie's case, it was not. But being a person, sometimes we can't let something go.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Well, we did get one listener email regarding The Last of Us. Would you like me to read this for you?
Yes, I saw it. Saw that it said, Robert, don't read, and I didn't look at it.
So this is from our dear friend Ferdin. Ferdin writes, "It's been about a week since I completed the game, and I'm still recovering. I did my best to avoid spoilers and reviews to try to form my own opinions on it since I loved the first game so much. All I knew going in was Ellie was mad. I inferred that Joel was killed based on that premise, and let me tell you, I knew it was going to happen, but I was not ready. I wasn't ready to be so mad and so frustrated at what happens to him. I watch a lot of scary movies and am generally unaffected by gore, but wow, I had to pause and take in what they did to Joel. But I understand why Ellie goes on her rampage. I was actually mad too. I wanted to go after those people. All through Ellie's piece of the game, I wanted to go after them, and there were times in some of the cutscenes where I felt her bloodlust.
Me too.
When you get to where Abby, the antagonist, got into the theater and the game shifts to Abby's perspective, I was shocked. Because here I am thinking the game is almost over, because it felt like I've been playing for hours and hours. Mm-hmm. Naughty Dog said, yes, again. I was pissed. How dare they make me understand another point of view? Her perspective had way more interesting things, I guess because her story was more than just revenge. I was upset that I enjoyed her side more than Ellie's. I was also pissed that I had to fight Ellie as Abby. All the time as Ellie felt so wasted. Honestly, it was good since it allows Abby to move past her need for revenge. Cut to Ellie moving into the farmhouse to help raise a baby with her girlfriend. Now I'm like, wow, what a great game. It's even got a happy ending. Cool. Wait, why is Tommy here telling me where to find Abby? No, Tommy, get the hell out. No, Ellie, go back to bed. God damn, here we go again. Ellie can't move on from her vengeance and goes back on the road to hunt down Abby. This last part was such a kick in the teeth. I played this game for days straight through, pounding it out and out from morning to night, and this is the conclusion. Ellie goes to find Abby and rescues her just to turn around and fight her in an incredibly weakened state and almost win and kill her, but then she spares her. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, I thought this game was excellent. I get why people were not happy with it, but like you guys mentioned in one of the episodes, I don't think the goal was to make people happy. It was to tell a story, and it did just that. It really drove home that in this world, there's just an endless cycle of violence. Joel gets killed by Abby because Joel killed her dad, and Ellie goes after Abby because she killed Joel. There was even a point in the story where they talk about the different groups of people in Seattle coming to a truce, and then ending the truce because both sides couldn't stop killing.
So that part is actually like, so you find like little notes hidden around the world, and yeah, you get to read this whole thing about, so there's Abby's like military group, and then there's Lev's like Amish style group, right?
Yeah.
They do come to a truce, but you know there's probably people in that group, one group or the other, that just like doesn't agree with it, so they start something and then everything crumbles. So there was a truce in here that gets crumbled.
I like it when the storytellers in the game like hide little notes that you can find in the environment. Yeah. Just kind of like tell their own narrative. I enjoy that kind of storytelling.
Oh my god, there's so much in this, and we would read them. Taylor would get so sad because it's a lot of the times it's notes from like a dad that was like, I went to go get supplies to save my family, but I got bit. I'm not going to turn into one of those. Here's the medicine for my pregnant wife. Please give this to her if you find her. And then it's him having shot himself next to all the like stuff, right?
Yeah.
Then you'll find a note that's like, my husband went to find supplies. He hasn't come back. We're going to go off on our own. And then you'll find them dead later on somewhere else. Like, there's tons of like micro stories filtered throughout the game.
All right, so Ferdin ends his email. Ellie loses literally everything because she couldn't move past the violence. She even lost a few fingers fighting Abby and can't play the guitar anymore. When I tell you I cried my eyes out. Through the game, it makes it apparent that this is her way of escaping reality, and she lost it. I'm nothing but a husk of a man at this point, and the credits start. He says, I have no regrets buying this full price, but I don't think I can play this game multiple times.
No. I mean, I remember taking a script writing class one time.
Uh-huh.
And it was, the beginning of your story should be your, maybe not the beginning, but like the story that you tell should be your protagonist at the worst part of their lives, so they have a place to grow, right?
Yeah.
Think about every movie. It's always them at the worst time of their life, coming through some adversity to come out on the other side, right?
Yeah.
In this one, Ellie gets to the lowest point in her life at the end. We actually degrade the entire time. We start in a relatively good place. We go down, then we get to a great place, and then we lose everything.
Yeah, it's not a hero's tale.
No.
Some other quick hits. Ferdinand wrote at the end of his email just some bullet points that he loves. Abby's arms and physique made me question my sexuality. Which,
Dude,
yes.
though. So, when you stealth kill people as Ellie, you use her knife and, like, slit throats and stuff.
Yeah.
Abby just straight up chokes people out with that bicep.
That's fucking awesome.
She just grabs people and just goes, and they die.
Flex
It's pretty
to
awesome.
death.
It's pretty awesome.
He also says the Rat King infected was such a fucking cool boss. I have to look up a picture of this.
So do you know how the infected work?
It's like spores, right? It's that plant thing.
Yeah, so it's like a fungus that grows the inside out of you, right?
Yeah.
So the Rat King is ground zero in
Ew.
Seattle where, like, the outbreak first happened.
What the fuck is this thing?
It's a bunch of different people fused together in one giant
Ew.
infected.
Gross.
So you're walking through this, like, hospital kind of thing,
Yeah.
and you, like, read all these notes about how this particular hospital was ground zero where the outbreak originally took place. So there's, like, original infected in this place. And I guess they never really came back to this hospital, and some of these just fused together and have grown into one giant, like they're all just stuck to each other.
That's gross.
It was gross, and one of them breaks off, and you have to fight it later.
Nasty.
It was pretty cool, but we actually got that spoiled for us.
Boo.
Because Taylor was like, what's up with the different levels of infected? So we were looking stuff up, and we were like, the fuck's a Rat King? So I was kind of ready for when it happened, and I think because I had time to, like, prepare my mind, the boss fight actually went easier, too.
Yeah.
Because I just had a flamethrower and just, like, unload! And just was
Fuck
done.
yeah.
It was great.
All right. Okay, Ferdinand also writes the LGBT representation was A+. Part 1 had a gay man, and Part 2 there's a lesbian, a bi girl, and a trans boy.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this
Covering
game.
multiple things. It's good. And then he also, for his final note, says, please listen to Ellie's acoustic cover of Take On Me, which I did, and it's beautiful, and I love it.
I loved it. At some point, now that you've kind of heard some stuff, I would like for you to see the ending at least once.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, like, take it in.
After reading all these reviews and hearing your take on it, I don't think I want to play this game.
I don't think you do.
It just sounds really brutal. Just I can't even think of a better word for it than just brutal. Like, it sounds like it's too much.
It's basically saying humanity can be ugly, and let's just show that.
Yeah, let's show the worst possible sides of humanity all the time.
But I think just once you need to see how they go about the ending, so you can see if you feel like I did, like, this. It just seemed like an unfair fight.
Yeah.
It seemed like the wrong way to go about it.
That's what it sounds like.
So, that is The Last of Us in a nutshell. This is about 23 hours less than if you played it yourself, so that's good. Yeah, I'm, like, wore out from that now.
Yeah, I can hear the exhaustion in your voice.
It's a lot to think about.
But you did it. And we pretty much know that there's not going to be a Last of Us 3, right?
Well, there may be. So,
Don't...
it may not be about Ellie.
Who do you think it would be about, Abby?
So, the whole thing was, so remember I said she got kidnapped by those biker gang dudes?
Yeah.
She had gotten on the radio and talked to another Firefly group, and they were like, yeah, come meet us here. You can join our group. And they have a thriving community. They're gaining more people. Like, they're up and coming. Right?
All right.
When Abby leaves, it's like hard because they're both 2-syllable names, and you play as both of them for so long.
Yeah.
Like, they're almost like one person. When Abby leaves, so when you start the game, the, like, start screen are the boats where you have the final showdown.
Oh.
When you beat the game, it's it's that boat beached on a beach somewhere, and it's actually showing you the Firefly base that Abby was told about. So it's implied by this title screen at the end, Abby and Lev have made it to the Fireflies, so they went where they were going to go.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Ellie's done.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Probably going to go live a sad life.
With goats.
And just be done. But Abby might be part of this, and maybe one of the theories is you will be part of the Fireflies looking for maybe another cure, or Abby's going to hunt down Ellie to kill her to get the cure out of her like they were trying to do in the first game to begin with.
That would be nuts.
So we could have a third one as Abby finally taking out Ellie, but giving Ellie that purpose she wanted the entire time.
Okay.
So that could really turn into something. I don't know.
Remains to be seen.
I feel like I would like that. Because Ellie's life really is, like you said, just pain of having everything taken, and maybe we can give her some retribution or solace by letting her be the cure that she wants to be.
Yeah.
Because now she doesn't have Joel to really want her around. Dina doesn't want her now, so just go be the cure then.
Go be the cure.
Maybe that's the best thing to do.
You ready to chop the Rat King in half or something?
I am.
Okay. Hey guys, would you please tell your friends about us and help us grow our audience? Do you have a friend who just freaking loves The Last of Us? And you're like, hey, this is a good review. Maybe they would like to hear this. I bet they would. Why don't you put us in their ears? Don't forget to subscribe to us on your favorite platform so you never ever miss an episode, because we are here every single Monday, each and every week. If you got a second to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, that would really, really help us reach more lovely listeners just like you.
And don't forget, you can find us and friend us on social media. We are at YMBTOAP on Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget that we have a Facebook page, and you can also subscribe to our YouTube and our Twitch. We put up our episodes on YouTube every Monday as well. And we also put our Twitch videos up there, which we just put one up about a week ago, where we both played the kinda spooky 237 based on The Shining. I actually really enjoyed that.
It was fun in its own right.
It was fun. I think it did what it needed to do, which was just like go, ooh, spooky place.
Spooky.
So don't forget that you can check that out there. And also, don't forget, you can send us a listener mail like Ferdin did at ymbtoap@gmail.com. Please send us your listener mail. That is the only Last of Us thing that we've heard. I would be interested to see more. I know it sounds like I'm a Last of Us apologist, I guess. But I really think it works for what it's doing. And I have stated there's some flaws, so I'm not just saying it's good for the sake of it. I think it's good at what it's trying to do. But I would love to see other views. I am kind of interested in what other people thought about some of the characters. If you thought the trans character was represented good or bad.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Tell us what you want out of a Last of Us 3, if you want a Last of Us 3.
You know, when this ended, I was like, I don't want another one. And then I read the thing about Abby maybe taking Ellie to make a cure, and I was like, I could want that, maybe. So, I don't even know.
Okay. Our theme song is The Grim Reaper Blows the Horn by Firaj. Please check him out on YouTube. He just released the full version of Cowboys on Caffeine, and it is A+. As always, thank you for listening, and tune in next time to get the answer to that burning question. Do you think that thing about the baby carrots is really true? Like, just that much force?
We had one more important sound we wanted you to hear.
Would you say this was the thing that scared you the most, though? As like a kid for a movie?
No. Jumanji was the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, I can't watch Jumanji. The fucking heartbeat, it's like Edgar Allan Poe, some shit, you know?
Like, even now?
Yes, it scares me. That horrible, like, ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum.
Man, I love Jumanji. I even bought the, like, board game whenever it came out.
No, you're asking for it.
It's not as fun as you would think.
I wouldn't think it'd be any fun at all. So there.